Once upon a time, in a small village named Umudike, there lived a man named Nkwesi. Nkwesi was known throughout the village for his kind observation skills and his dedication to safety and well-being of his community. He was a humble man living in a modest house at the edge of the village. His house had a small garden and a large window that faced the main road, giving him a clear view of the things happening outside. One quiet night, Nkwesi found himself unable to sleep. He tossed and turned in his bed, but sleep would not come. The night was unusual, and a sense of unseen settled over him. He decided to get up and make himself a cup of tea, hoping it would help him relax. As he waited for the water to boil, he wandered over the large window in his living room and looked outside. The clock on the wall showed it was 2 a.m. and the village was in darkness with only the dim street lights casting long shadows on the road. Just as he was about to turn away, something unusual caught his eye. Right in front of his gate, he saw a small bundle. It was a baby wrapped in a white cloth, lying on the cold floor. Nkwesi's heart skipped a beat. He pressed his face closer to the window, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. The baby was crying, echoing through the silent night. Nkwesi felt a surge of concern. Why would someone leave a baby out in the cold at this hour? He watched in horror as the baby cried for what seemed like an eternity, over 30 minutes. Nkwesi debated whether to go out and check on the baby. He noticed something even more alarming. A man dressed in black was hiding behind the wall of his neighbor's house. The man was moving cautiously, trying to stay out of sight. Nkwesi's heart pounded as he realized the man. The man in black crawled towards the baby and gently shook it, causing the baby to cry louder. He then retreated back to his hiding spot, his eyes fixed on the surrounding houses. Nkwesi's mind raced. He knew he had to do something, but he also knew he had to be careful. He quickly dialed the contact number of his neighbor, Mr. Okoro, and explained what he had seen. Mr. Okoro, who lived a few houses down, was equally shocked. He thanked Nkwesi for the warning and promised to stay safe. Meanwhile, the man in black, seeing that no one was coming out to check on the baby, crawled back to the baby and picked it up. He covered the baby in his arm and moved towards the road. Within few minutes, a taxi pulled up, and the man in black got in with the baby. The taxi sped away, disappearing into the night. Nkwesi felt a cold chill run down his spine. What he had witnessed was not ordinary event. The next morning, Nkwesi and Mr. Okoro decided to warn the rest of the villagers. They called for a meeting and shared the incident with their neighbors. Mr. Okoro, who also revealed that his elder brother had been robbed the previous week using a similar tactic. The robbers had left a baby near his house, hoping to lure someone out. When Mr. Okoro's brother came out to check on the baby, the robbers ambushed him and stole his belongings. The villagers were alarmed. They realized they had to be more vigilant and take measures to protect themselves. They decided to form a neighborhood watch group, taking turns to patrol the village. As the days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, the village of Umudike remained on high alert. The neighborhood watch group that had been formed grew stronger, with more villagers volunteering to take shifts. They patrolled the streets with torch, and everyone took turns keeping an eye out for anything unusual. The village buzzed with a new sense of solidarity and purpose. Nkwesi was pleased with what was happening in the village. He also remained ever vigilant. He knew that the robbers would strike again. He was determined to protect his house and his neighbors. Every night he would sit by his window, keeping watch over the roadside. One night, around midnight, Nkwesi saw a movement in the shadows near the same spot where the baby had been left before. His heart raced. This time it wasn't a baby, but a suspicious-looking figure. Along the side of the road, Nkwesi quickly alerted the neighborhood watch. Within minutes, a group of villagers quietly gathered. Armed with makeshift weapons and flashlights, they moved silently through the shadows, careful to alert the intruder to their presence. As they got closer, they saw that the figure was a man dressed in black clothes, attempting to break into one of the houses. They surrounded the man and shined their flashlights on him. Catching him off guard, the man tried to run, but there was no escape. He was quickly apprehended and brought to the center of the village, where everyone gathered to see who had been causing them so much trouble. Under the bright light of the street lamp, the man's face was revealed. He was not from Umudike, he was a stranger. The village elders questioned him and he confessed that he was part of a gang that had been targeting villagers in the area. He admitted that the crying baby tactic was their way of luring people out of their homes so that they could rob them. The villagers were surprised but also relieved. They handed the man over to the local securities, who assured them that they would do everything possible to catch the rest of the gang. Authorities commended the villagers for their brave and quick thinking. In the days that followed, the village elders decided to hold a meeting to discuss further measures to ensure the safety of Umudike. They invited security experts from nearby town to educate the villagers on how to protect their homes and what to do in case of emergencies. They also started a fund to improve the village security infrastructure, installing more street lights and security cameras. Nkwesi became somewhat of a local hero. The villagers praised him for his vigilance and quick action. They realized that it was his dedication to keep watch that had saved them from potential harm. The children of the village, who had heard the story of Nkwesi's bravery, looked up for him and often visited him to hear more stories of his adventures. One evening, as the sun set and the village gathered for their night patrol, Nkwesi stood before them and spoke. "We have learned a valuable lesson," he said. "It is our duty to look out for each other and to protect our community. Together we are strong. Let us continue to be vigilant and to support one another." The villagers cheered and they were happy with Nkwesi's voice. From that day on, the spirit of unity and vigilance in Umudike grew even stronger. The village became known far and wide as a place where people looked out for one another, where the community stood together in face of adversity. And so the story of Nkwesi and the night he witnessed a spinster applause from his window became a tale passed down through generations. It was a story that reminded everyone of the power of community, the importance of vigilance, and the impact of one person could have in making their world a safer place.